Hey, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little worried at first, but after watching each episode twice, I can say I'm all aboard on this live action adaptation of One Piece. Also, this sets the bar high on how live adaptations of anime and manga are supposed to be done. But don't want to get too ahead of myself. Let's talk about Netflix's One Piece.
That was pretty good, but it's my turn now.
Netflix's One Piece is a Japanese anime fantasy adventure series. It is the first ever live action series of the ongoing popular manga since 1997. The creator of One Piece, Arichiro Oda, has direct involvement in this adaptation, and it shows. This series was announced back in 2017 as part of the celebration of the 20th anniversary of One Piece. Most of the filming took place in Cape Town, Africa, but I will talk about that towards the end. For the ones who don't know, One Piece follows Monkey D. Luffy as he forms a crew to sail to the Grand Line to find the One Piece. Spoiler alert for both the anime and live action to a degree. Also, if you don't want to see me going over the story, skip to the time code that I have posted here in the video. So let's get into the story of Netflix's One Piece. We begin in Log Town 20 years ago. The king of the pirates, Gold D. Roger, is to be executed before the entire world to purge the villainy from the world. However, Roger's last words inspire those to take to the seas and find the legendary treasure, One Piece. Present day in the East Blue, we are introduced to Monkey D. Luffy as he sets out on his pirate adventure. However, his boat was sinking and he had to abandon it and climb into a barrel, Donkey Kong style. That night, we are introduced to Koby. He is an involuntary caretaker of the Alvadea pirates. The captain, Alvadea, is a...
Man, you must have one of them fat-ass Taco Bell, McDonald's eating big booty-ass having...
Jimmy!
Clumpville, Chunky Town, big-ass city.
She carries an iron mace that she shows no mercy into killing captors that wouldn't give her information. Damn, she ain't fooling around. Anyway, she told Koby to go clean the mess that she made. He then meets Luffy once he emerged from the barrel. He befriends Koby and convinces to free him from Alvadere's servitude. He finishes it off by the scene that sold me from the trailer.
Oh my god!
Man, that was great. We are introduced to Roy Zoro as he stands over a grave. He is then approached by Mr. Seven, a member of the Baroque Works. Mr. Seven wants to recruit Zoro, but Zoro declines. And we all know how these kinds of scene goes. Mr. Seven bows Zoro, and it was pretty much one-sided. Damn, that was cold. The next day, Luffy and Koby steal a boat, and it looks as though Luffy burned down Alvadea's ship. Luffy wants to sail to the Grand Line, but Koby says without a map, there's no way of getting there. So Luffy plans to sail to the nearest marine base to steal a map to the Grand Line. Next, we are introduced to Nami, a master thief and deceiver, as she stole a boat of some pirates. Luffy and Koby make it to Shell's Town and raid the marine base. They went to the bar to eat, and Zoro comes in with the body of Mr. Seven. A little girl brings Zoro some nasty-ass chocolate rice balls. I know I've had rice balls before, but judging by how the looks of them, they look nasty. But anyway, the girl accidentally bumps into Blade from the Puppet Master series. Oh my bad, Hepamipo, the son of the corrupt Captain Morgan. He bullies the girl and Zoro steps in and fights Hepamipo and the Marines, but was taken in. While the fight was going on, Nami was at the bar. She knocked out the Marine, stealing his uniform. Zoro meets with Captain Morgan and was given a choice to either find a new career or hang in the sun for 7 days. And of course, Zoro makes the obvious choice. Nami seeks inside the base. Luffy makes his own plan to seek inside the base by improvising. He finds Zoro and wants him to join his crew. At first, Zoro declines until he found out that Captain Morgan was never going to let him go. So Luffy frees him to retrieve his swords. Luffy meets Nami and they reluctantly team up to find a map to the Grand Line. Luffy figures that the map will be in Captain Morgan's office. Zoro retrieves his sword from Hepamipo, and instead of killing him, he did something far worse to him. Luffy and Nami make it to the office and they search for the map. Luffy finds a secret switch and finds a safe holding the map. Captain Morgan figures out that Nami was an imposter and sounds the alarm. With no time, Luffy manages to rip the safe from the ground, launching him and Nami out of the window, landing on the ground safely. They are surrounded by Marines and a fight begins. Zoro was about to leave out, but he sees both Nami and Luffy outnumbered, so he joins the fight. They are then confronted by Captain Morgan, but he is defeated. They head to Nami's ship that she stole, but is stopped by Heffalumpo.
The Marines are here already. You're under arrest.
What's wrong with his hair?
Yeah, I might have done that.
Damn, Zoro should not be a barber. Anyway, Koby knocks out Heffalumpo and tells Luffy that he's not going with them, that he's going to live out his dream to become a Marine. Luffy understands and bids farewell. On the ship of Vice Admiral Garp, he hears word that the map of the Grand Line was stolen and he sets sail to Shell's Town. In Orange Town, a pirate clown by the name of Buggy learns of Luffy and his crew.
Not a crew.
Okay. Buggy learns that Luffy and his associates that they have the map. So he proceeds to kidnap the three. But just before they were captured, Luffy managed to swallow the map. Garp makes it to the Shell's Town and interrogated Koby, asking where his allegiance lie. Koby answers effectively, saying that he is loyal to the Marines and Luffy must be brought to justice. Luffy and the others were questioned by Buggy on where the map is. However, Nami makes a diversion by tossing Luffy's hat and abandoning him and Zoro. Nami didn't get very far as she is caught by the destruction of Orange Town. It is learned that Buggy destroyed and enslaved the people of Orange Town. Buggy wants the map, but Luffy stands firm and doesn't say anything. So Buggy traps Nami and Zoro while he interrogates Luffy alone. Nami has a lockpick under her sleeve. Buggy stretches Luffy out to torture, but it seems that it isn't effective as you think. Nami and Zoro break out and proceed to go rescue Luffy. Buggy attempts to drown Luffy with seawater due to the fact that Luffy ate a devil fruit, which gave him his stretchy abilities. However, the drawback of him eating the devil fruit is that his ability to swim has been taken away. Hell, even a few splashes of seawater can make anyone who ate a devil fruit weaker. Nami and Zoro make it in time to save Luffy from drowning. Buggy reveals that he has also eaten a devil fruit called the Chop Chop fruit, which gives Buggy the power to split his body in pieces and can control said pieces willingly. Remember that for later. With the combined efforts from the three, they defeat Buggy. They free the people of Orange Town and bid farewell. Meanwhile, Garp sets sail to bring Luffy to justice. Nami secretly contacts someone saying that she has the map to the Grand Line. Sometime later, the ship that the three were on started to sink. In need of a new ship, the three sailed to Gecko Island in Syrup Village. Luffy wants to buy a new ship, but Nami wants to steal one. They meet a young villager by the name of Usopp. He has the habit of telling tall tales, but with good reason. More on that in the character breakdown. Usopp says that his best friend Kaya owns the shipyard, and he takes the three to the mansion. Garp follows Luffy's trail and tasks Koby to go to Gecko Island to bring Luffy in. We meet Kaya, who is very sickly, and our house butler named Kalendor. Despite Kalendor's distaste for Usopp, Kaya invites them all for dinner for her 18th birthday. Zoro gives Kalendor a look like he's seen him somewhere before.
I knew you. Damn it to hell, I knew your face was familiar to me.
I'm sure it's nothing. Later, Luffy makes a deal with Nami that if he can't persuade Kaya to give them a ship, then they will have to go to Nami's plant and steal it. At dinner, Kalendor wants Kaya to eat some special soup for her condition, but everyone wants Kaya to eat what she wants for her birthday. Luffy reveals that they are pirates, and before he could propose to get Kaya to give them a ship, she falls ill, cutting the dinner short. That night, no one could sleep, with Luffy needing a light snack, Zoro looking for booze, Usopp couldn't sleep because of what happened at dinner, and Nami started stealing stuff. However, it's caught by Kaya, but the two had bonded over their personal opinions about one another. Luffy and Usopp bond on the fact that Luffy knows Usopp's father, Yasopp. While Zoro and Usopp go to the cellar, Luffy eats Kaya's special soup. Meanwhile, Kalendor reveals that he is Captain Kuro of the Black Cat Pirates. He kills Kaya's lawyer, Mary. Kuro's plan is to kill Kaya and take her family business. Usopp and Zoro find Mary's dead body. Kuro confronts them. However, I don't know why Kuro just couldn't move the body. Or maybe the time Kuro killed Mary was at the exact same time Usopp and Zoro were heading down to the wine cellar. So it couldn't have been like minutes apart. Zoro was about to fight Kuro until he is knocked out by Kuro's crew. Usopp escapes and tries to warn the village that the pirates are coming and no one believes him. However, for the plot to go forward, Koby finds Usopp and believes him. Zoro was tossed down the well along with Mary's dead body. Koby and Usopp got to the mansion to confront the imposter butler, but Kuro used Usopp's past against him. Kuro did hand over a knocked out Luffy. Nami figured out that the soup that Kaya was eating was actually poison. After many attempts, Zoro manages to escape the well. Usopp and Nami warn Kaya about Kuro in time before he commences to go after Kaya. Luffy wakes up and regurgitates the poison. Zoro finds Luffy and they both head back to the mansion. The chase begins as Kaya, Usopp, and Nami hit into walls to get away from Kuro. However, he still managed to catch up to them, and the only thing the three can do at the moment is hide. Zoro and Luffy make it to the mansion and split up. Zoro fights Shan and Bocchi, Kuro's crewmates, while Luffy takes on Kuro himself. Out of these two fights, I find Zoro's fight more impressive. They both win their fights, with Sham and Bocchi were tied up for the Marines to take them in. However, Kuro gets away. Kaya gives Luffy a ship, and he names it the Gorin Mary. Luffy wants Usopp to join him, but Usopp is reluctant to join because he wanted to take care of Kaya. But she tells Usopp that she can take care of herself. She bids him farewell and hopes to see him again. She gives him a kiss, giving him incentive to one day come back. Shit. I would have took her on the Gorin Mary and tapped that ass if I were Usopp. But I guess he took the high road. Koby felt that he failed his mission on capturing Luffy, but Garp says he did exactly what he was supposed to do and was to draw Luffy out. As Luffy and the others set sail, Garp catches up and begins to attack them.
Grandpa? Grandpa?
As the ship gets damaged, Garp asks Luffy to give up, but Luffy stands firm. Garp shows a bit of his strength by launching a cannonball at the Gorin Mary, but Luffy uses his devil fruit powers to send the cannonball right back at Garp, giving them enough time to escape in the fog. However, they can't navigate through it because how thick the fog is. Nami wants to adjust on Garp being Luffy's grandfather, but Zoro says that is nothing to talk about. To get them out of the fog, Luffy uses his sense of smell to get them to the Baratier, a floating restaurant. As Luffy and the crew...
Not a crew.
Who's doing this review? Me or you? Anyway, we meet a young chef named Sanji as he's berated by the owner Zeph for cooking dishes that's not on the menu. As a punishment, Sanji had to wait tables. Luffy orders everything on the menu but can't pay, so Zeph made Luffy a chore boy to pay off his bill. Meanwhile, Garp contacts and hires Draco Mihawk, a pirate warlord. See, whenever the world government wants to get their hands dirty, they hire one of the 7 warlords of the sea in exchange to do what they want, in exchange of their bounties being cancelled. As Luffy was doing his chore, he finds Sanji's dish that he made earlier and thought it was delicious. As the others were drinking and having a good time, Mihawk shows up looking for Luffy. Real quick, I would assume that when Garp contacted Mihawk that he would have been further away from the Baratier, but I could just chalk it up to when that Luffy escaped, Garp contacting Mihawk at the same time, so he could have been already on the way to the Baratier. But I could just be thinking too much into it. But let's continue. So Mihawk shows up looking for Luffy, but Zoro wants to challenge him for the title of the world's greatest swordsman. Nami wants to run away, but she comes around to support Zoro. The next morning comes and the duel between the swordsmen commences. Zoro knows that he's outmatched and loses to Mihawk. Rather than killing Zoro, Mihawk tells Zoro to get stronger and seek him out. He also leaves Luffy alone while Zoro falls unconscious. Zoro is brought before Sanji and Zeph as they administer treatment. However, it is uncertain that Zoro will live. Zeph says that in order to help Zoro get back from the void between life and death, they will have to talk to him while he lies there. Mihawk tells Garp that he let Luffy go, stating that the world needs more wild cards like Luffy. And also Mihawk casually tells Garp that he doesn't take orders. Garp takes it well. Koby being nosy found out about Garp and Luffy's relation. Now, I forgot to talk about this earlier or mention this earlier within the story, but after Buggy's defeat in Orange Town, he is then confronted by the fishman Arlong, wondering where the map to the Grand Line is. For Buggy's sake, he did the right thing into telling Arlong what he wanted because he was clearly outmatched. Now, Arlong shows up to the Baratier looking for Luffy, and it's revealed that Buggy hid his ear inside of Luffy's hat. A fight ensues and Luffy was beaten. Nami reveals that she is part of Arlong's crew and hands over the map and leaves with him. Luffy feeling down about the state of his crew.
Not a crew.
Zoro wakes up and swears allegiance to Luffy until the very end. As Luffy, Zoro, and Usopp set sail, Sanji joins them as their crew's cook. Luffy managed to steal Buggy's head to help them find Nami, leading them to Konomi Island. They learn that the people of Cocoa Village are enslaved by Arlong. Much to Nami's anger towards Luffy and the others, she tells them to go away. Luffy and the others meet Najiko, Nami's adopted sister. They learn that their mother saved them by sacrificing her own life. Nami was secretly gathering 100 million berries to buy back Cocoa Village, and all she needed was till the next morning to do so. Arlong, being an asshole, tips off Marines that he was paying off to keep quiet of his operations to confiscate the 100 million berries from Nami, much to Nami's horror. But Nami no longer able to hold back her emotions, she asks Luffy for help. Meanwhile, Garp learns from Koby of Luffy's whereabouts. Luffy did not hesitate to help Nami as he gathers the rest of the crew.
Let's go.
Right.
Oh, now y'all crew. Anyway, Luffy gathers the rest of the crew to take the fight to Arlong, but Cocoa Village was under attack, leading into the season finale. The people of Cocoa Village unite to take the fight to Arlong. Luffy and his crew storm Arlong Park, and a huge fight commences. In the previous episode, they took Buggy's head along with them to find his body. However, once he found it, he promptly betrays them and escapes. Sanji and Zoro took out the fish pet in the park, while Usopp took out one of his own. Luffy and Nami make it to Arlong Map's room to confront Arlong. After two fight, Luffy hits Arlong where it would hurt him the most by destroying the map room. Arlong tried to stop Luffy but was caught in the middle of Luffy's final attack, defeating him. That night, everyone celebrates, but is cut short due to Garp arriving to arrest Luffy, but wouldn't go without a fight. Luffy and Garp fight, but the young pirate was completely outmatched by his grandfather. However, Luffy will not yield and will chase his dream no matter what. Garp finally relents and lets Luffy follow his own path and the consequences that comes with it. Koby meets with Luffy one last time as he's presented his first bounty of 30 million berries. The Straw Hat crew declared their future goal as they set sail to the Grand Line. Many acquaintances and enemies like Buggy and Alvida learn of Luffy's bounty. They will form an alliance to kill Luffy. Elsewhere, we see a Marine captain with Luffy's wanted poster, and then they burn it. I really can't believe that they pulled this off. For many fans and casual watchers of One Piece alike, came together to agree that this live-action adaptation broke the live-action anime adaptation curse. We had many failures like Cowboy Bebop, Death Note, Dragon Ball Evolution, Knights of the Zodiac, just to name a few. This is like the first time I believe that the original creator of what the show is based on had somewhat creative input. Because I noticed that these studios be buying movie rights to certain anime and they just keep it on the shelf until the rights that they purchase is about to expire. So they will either repurchase the rights or have to hurry up and make a movie before the movie rights revert back. This has happened before with Fantastic Four 2015, and you all knew what a disaster that was. Once the casting was announced, a lot of people were already condemning this. In a way, it is warranted, and others just give it a chance. Now look at them, eating their words. However, there are some that complain about certain characters being race swapped, and you know which character I'm talking about. There are some reviewers out there, mainly IGN, says that there is too much source material. My question is, what the hell do y'all want then? Many fans complain for years that the blueprint is right there, you can't mess this up. But I personally feel that the studio does that on purpose to mess with us. But folks are never satisfied and they will still complain even if you follow the source material to the T. I like how they took certain liberties and put their own spin on the first 5 arcs of One Piece into live action. I could hardly find anything wrong with this series, to be honest. For this portion of the video, I'm going to name certain things that they changed to fit in the live action anime. I'm only going to name a few because if I try to name them all, this video is going to be longer than it already is. So first, the map to the Grand Line was originally stolen from Buggy. The second, we didn't get to see Zoro get arrested before he was hung. Arlong was never at the Baratie along with his crew and Buggy. Garp never pursued Luffy in the entire East Blue saga. Mihawk killing Don Krieg was completely original scene because we all know who fought and won against that pirate. There are more, but like I said, I'm going to stop here for now. One question I couldn't find the answer is that why majority of the scenes were filmed at night. I want to believe it's because it would simply look better for what they were trying to do as far as like the special effects. The characters themselves did majority of their own stunts. The scene at the Marine base took over a week to film and it shows. It's fun that the actors put their hearts and soul into these characters because they are longtime fans of the show. So now let's get into the characters. I'll start with the non-Straw Hats first. Now Koby in this version wasn't as cowardly as his anime counterpart pre-time skip. It showed right after he was free from the Alvidia pirates. How he got there is from what I read is that he accidentally got on her ship and was forced to be her chore boy ever since. I wonder why once he was free he didn't want to go back home. Maybe he was an orphan. Once he became a Marine cadet, he got in the favor of Garp, even though I think Garp was using Koby's friendship to bring Luffy in. However, by the end, he will be trained by Garp along with Hefmapo. Now, you probably noticed why I haven't mentioned Hefmapo. It's because after his initial introduction, I forgot he was even there. That's the honest truth. Moving on. Vice Admiral Garp was there when Gold Roger was executed. Garp had no problem showing Luffy distaste from his dream of being a pirate, but I guess it didn't take because Luffy still became a pirate. Garp wanted to save Luffy by getting in front of Luffy's criminal activity, so that way he could either persuade Luffy to stop being a pirate or at least try to get him a lighter sentence if he was caught. However, Luffy stood firm and Garp let his grandson be his own man, and with that comes consequences. Kuro was a notorious pirate. However, he grew tired of it and wanted a fresh start. And by doing so, he wanted to kill Kaya and take her fortune and run the shipyard. He was called a coward by Luffy because he gave up on his dream. To be fair, after being a pirate for so long, running from the government, it kind of takes a toll on you. So why wouldn't you want to retire for a simpler life? But once he was defeated by Luffy, he left Gecko Island and went to God knows where. I thought he was going to get caught, but they might use him for next season for an original story just for the show. Buggy is what the Suicide Squad Joker was supposed to be. He was funny while also maniacal and genocidal. He's self-centered and always wanted to be in the spotlight. He knew Shanks the pirate that befriended Luffy many years ago. He hates Shanks because he didn't realize Buggy's potential, I guess. His Chop Chop Devil Fruit not only gives him the power to take apart his body parts and use it as a weapon, he also used it as an ability to eavesdrop on any and every conversation, as long as that person being spied on doesn't go swimming. Buggy only helped if his back was against the wall, but we all know what happened once he gets what he wants. He wants revenge from Luffy, so hopefully if we get a second season, we can see that storyline play out. Arlong is equivalent to that of Killmonger from Black Panther. His people were forced into slavery because the government were afraid of fishmen. Sounds familiar? I'm going to go on a limb here, but I feel that they were looking for an actor to play Arlong. They intentionally chose a black man to play a once enslaved race and now wants a revolution that will not be televised. Even though slavery of the fishmen were abolished, Arlong still needed to take revenge of the world and do what humans did to his people long ago. Now, Arlong is no better than his oppressors by a long shot, but you could tell by his actions there is some trauma that needs to be explored. However, in the live-action show's case, Arlong won't probably be seen or heard from again. But one funny thing that I saw, and I could just point out that Arlong is a trap nigga through and through. I believe that the actor that played Arlong was having the time of his life. Now here we are with the actual Straw Hats. We will start with the last one that joined. Sanji was a cook on the local ship until it was raided by the Cook Pirates. That's where he met Zeph. At the time, Zeph was known as Red Leg Zeph or Red Foot Zeph, depending on which version you prefer. He and Sanji were stranded on an island for over 59 days. Sanji exhausted all his food and tried to get food from Zeph, but found out that he didn't have food, so Zeph ended up eating off his own leg, hence saving Sanji's life. Sanji wants to find the legendary All Blue, where all the fish and ingredients from all parts of the world will be in one place. Sanji also believes in not wasting food, which is unique because I saw Sanji once in the anime make something that everyone can eat from. For example, I think he used the bones of a fish to make some type of soup. I forget, but this Sanji also can make something out of a few ingredients. In spite of Zeph and Sanji trading insults back and forth of how one another should cook, you can see that they both care for each other. And once Sanji left, he thanked Zeph for everything that he ever done for him. He owes him his life. Sanji is also a simp to any beautiful woman that comes along and will do anything, and I mean anything for them. Now, in the anime, it's far worse, so I'm glad that they toned it down for this live-action adaptation. What made me feel embarrassed for Sanji, and also laughed at Sanji, is that when he did that "where my hug" gesture. It's obvious that Nami was not going to hug him because he just joined the crew. And depending on how much time has passed between the islands, she could have known the others for months. But I guess that will change once he gets to know the crew better. Sanji fights with just his legs because he needs his hands to cook. You can't cook effectively with injured hands and dirty fingernails. And besides, that's not sanitary. Zoro wants to be the greatest swordsman that ever lived due to the promise he made to his late friend Kuina, a female swordsman that was 10 times better than Zoro, beating him in a duel every time. However, Kuina said that eventually that will change with age. Zoro thinks that's stupid and made a promise that they will both train every day until one of them becomes the world's greatest swordsman. Zoro is good with the three-sword style. I feel that in this version, he's not even trying hard when facing other opponents, aside from Mihawk. He is a bit of a bad boy that most women will love to try to get and change him for the better. He also is a drunk, but we haven't seen him to get too drunk, or maybe he can handle his liquor, unlike most people. At first, Zoro was reluctant to join Luffy, but by the 3rd episode, he grew closer to the crew. Zoro's main weakness is that he has no sense of direction. It was shown twice in the episode Tell No Tales and the pirates are coming. But you don't get to see that a lot. From what I've read, there aren't a lot of jokes in this adaptation because this is aimed for more for the older fans of One Piece. Most of the best fight scenes came from Zoro. The actor Makinu that plays Zoro has done 95% of his own stunts. Makinu is also no stranger to live action anime adaptations, from Rurouni Kenshin, Full Metal Alchemist, and Knights of the Zodiac. So it was only natural that Makinu went out for Zoro because he said that in an interview, Zoro is his favorite character. So big points to the casting director for that. Usopp was abandoned by his father, and his mother died while he was younger. He tells lies that the pirates are coming to the Syrup village because he feels that one day his father will come back. My God, was this intentional too? I'm all for diversity, but you could have cast another Hispanic as Usopp, even though the actor that plays Usopp did a really good job at portraying the character. I mean, y'all really had to do that whole "my dad went to go get milk" joke. Okay, it was pretty funny. My question is why Usopp isn't upset at Yasopp. Usopp could have really reached his boiling point when the person you just met spent more time with your father than you have. Usopp likes to flex and tell tall tales, aka lies, that makes him braver than what he is. I wouldn't call Usopp a coward per se. Let's just chalk it up to that he picks his battles carefully. He is an expert marksman like his father, so he is invaluable to the crew. Also, besides Luffy, he did beat a fishman by himself. I still stand by on that he should have gotten some from Kaya. Some people like, oh, she's still sick from that poison. If he don't throw that bitch 2 aspirins and Tylenol, because it might be a long time until Usopp sees her again. But one can hope. For years, Nami was tormented of the fact that her mother was killed in front of her, and on top of that, her village and her sister hated her for joining Arlong's crew. She also kept it a secret for as long as she could of why she joined, so she wouldn't put anyone else in danger. I first questioned why Arlong didn't just tell Coco Village that Nami was getting enough the money to buy back the village. Maybe he wanted just to keep the people in the village in line, because if they knew that, they would either threat or fight Arlong every day due to the assumption that it would have been impossible for Nami to do what she needed to do, because how in the hell can you buy back a village if all the people are dead? The actress Emily Rudd really embodied Nami's emotion when she was portrayed by Arlong. The way Nami held that burden on buying back Coco Village while everyone hated her was heartbreaking. She had to put on a show that she didn't care what folks thought and had to put on a cold face to do what she needed to do. But I had a theory. If Nami never told Arlong that she had the money that night and presented him by surprise, he would have took the money from Nami and decimated Coco Village anyway. So I felt that no matter what she would have done, she would have lost that money either way, whether to Arlong or to the Marines. She warmed up to her new friends once she spent a lot of time with them, especially Luffy, because of how optimistic and forgiving he is. I think this is what inspired Nami to leave and wants to draw a map of the entire world, making her the world's best navigator. Luffy wasn't as always happy and easygoing. When he was younger, he wanted to be a pirate, but his idol, Shanks, said he wasn't ready, due to the fact of calling Shanks a coward when he was assaulted by bandits and didn't do nothing. Shanks taught him that there was no need to fight. Yeah, you can say that because you probably can kill them all in the instant. However, when friends and loved ones are threatened, all bets are off. Luffy took those lessons that Shanks taught him to heart and became a different kind of pirate. He only fought if innocent people and his friends were hurt. He may be a little naive at times, much to Nami's frustration, but in the end, she sees Luffy could be very wise when he wants to be. He also don't like it when people give up or downplay their dreams. For example, when he first met Koby, he slapped him because Koby called his own dream to become a Marine stupid. What I just mentioned, I think this will be like the top 2 that will really piss Luffy off and get serious. He ate the gum fruit, which gave him the body of rubber. However, he lost his ability to swim once he ate the devil fruit. He also inherited natural physical strength from his grandfather, which for the ones who don't know or haven't watched the anime or read the manga, now you know. Now, the creator of One Piece, Oda, stated that the actor that plays Luffy in the live-action adaptation was born to play Luffy, and he doesn't see anyone else playing Luffy in hopes that he could play Luffy for a very long time. I'm not going to pronounce his name because I'm in pronouncing names all day, especially the ones that are hard to pronounce. So I'm just going to put his name here in the video. So do what you will to try to pronounce that on your own. We didn't get to see Luffy use his gum fruit powers that much due to maybe like the budget, I believe. And I guess that's probably like the reason why they did certain scenes at night, because I believe that the effects of his gum fruit powers will look better at night. I don't know, it's just an assumption of mine, but honestly, I can't wait to see what the actor that plays Luffy does next season when they adapt the next arcs. There are a lot of Easter eggs in the show from the anime and manga, so this section is from die-hard One Piece fans only, but I'm only going to name a few that I caught my eye, so feel free to mention what I missed. First one was when Zoro was approached by Baroquewords, and the manga is a criminal organization formed by Crocodile to conquer the kingdom of Alabasta. Another was when Nami was reading a book to the unconscious Zoro called Nolan the Liar, which was about an admiral allegedly lied about a city made of gold. This is from the Skypiea arc, when the Straw Hats travel to an island in the sky to find a city of gold to prove Nolan right. The next Easter egg that was pretty obvious is when the Marine dropped Jinbei's name, which made Arlong pissed, calling Jinbei a lapdog. See, Jinbei in the anime and manga is a fisherman that joined the Straw Hat Pirates way later in the story. He has become a fan favorite. Last one I saw is pretty obvious also. The Marine captain that burned Luffy's wanted poster was none other than Smoker the White Hunter, who has the power of the Plum Plum fruit, which gives him the power to create, control, and transform his body into smoke. It is more unlikely that One Piece will be renewed for a second season, because it was reported that the script was completed. But we have to wait until the writers and actors strike is over. I mean, I have my reservations about the strike, but once I saw what they were offering, I'd stay on strike too. Do you know how much they were offering? 0.018% of $25 million a year. That's only $90,000 a year. That's barely middle class. But I digress. I love One Piece. This series set the bar on how live action adaptation is supposed to be done, honoring the source material while taking liberties and adding in their own twist for the show only. I've seen this series over 3 times already and might watch it again this week. Well, that's it for today. If there's a TV show, video game, anime, movie, or comic book you want me to take a look at, let me know in the comments. I also got an episodic show called Burst Talk, to where I talk about various forms of media, so I will give those a watch. The link will be in the description below. I also have a Discord. You can talk to me anytime there, and I'll also put that in the description below. As always, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and I'll catch you all next time.